Hello everyone, welcome to today's video where I'm going to talk about HTML5. Now this video is going to be dedicated towards complete beginners. It means that I'll be explaining in depth each code I write. And I'll also be providing some resources, some useful resources if you want to learn about web development on your own time in the description below. If you do have any concerns or questions, please let me know in the comments. And also, this video is going to be a part of a series that I'm trying to build right now. It's a web development, meaning that this is today's video. I'm going to talk about HTML, the next one will be CSS, and the third one will be JavaScript. I will also dive into full stack web applications. So if it sounds interesting to you, consider subscribing. So without further ado, let's get going. Okay, so today's video is about HTML, as you can see here on the screen. And what is HTML? So HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. This is the language that your browser understands. Don't be confused by a programming language, just like like a JavaScript or Python. Those programming languages, it can create functions. It has if-else statements and stuff like that. Markup language is just you are gonna work with some elements. You can't really create any elements itself. So hence it's a markup language. HTML also describes the structure of a web page. You can think of it as like a skeleton of a web page. So it's going to be just the foundation, and it also consists of a series of elements or tags. So the elements and tags comes in pairs that we're going to talk about in a moment, and these are the main concept of HTML5, of HTML elements. Okay, so this is an example how an HTML looks like behind the scenes of a website. Okay, so you see that we have a doc type HTML, then we have HTML. These are called elements. Or you can call tags, head, title, body. So this is an example. All right. So next one is some of the HTML basics. So the doc type declaration. The doc type declaration represents the document type and helps browsers to display web pages correctly. So this is what we're doing right here. It needs to be only once, should appear only once in your website, and it's actually telling your web page, your browser rather, that it is a document type, HTML document type, and it knows how to show it correctly. Okay. And doc type declaration is not case sensitive, but normal convention is that you're gonna capitalize the doc type and space, and then HTML is going to be lowercase. Every other tag's also not case sensitive, but everybody writes in lowercase. Okay, so there you are. Now, what is HTML elements? HTML elements looks like just this, and HTML elements comes in pairs. You can see there, same thing twice, and then HTML. This is how we write it: angle bracket or less than bracket, HTML, then greater than bracket or angle bracket. I'm gonna call angle bracket from now on, okay? And then same thing again, just how we write it the first one, except there's a /. This is actually telling the browser that, hey, this is part of a pair, and this is a closing tag of the HTML. Okay, every element that you learn, except for few, you will have an opening and closing elements like this, or tags. Okay, this next thing we're going to learn about is H1. This is called a heading. So H denotes for like headline, and then the number, it corresponds to the size. 1 being the biggest size, and it goes to 6. Okay, 6 being the smallest. You can see the example right here, how it's going to look like. So there you are, H1, this is the heading, H2, this is the heading, and it looks like this. If you want to change the size, you can change the number, and it will change the size accordingly. And then next one, we're going to learn about paragraph. Paragraph is just a regular text. If you want to put some text, regular, without any style or anything, regular text on the web page, you have to use P tag. Okay, simple enough. P for paragraph. All right, now let's get coding, so it will make more sense when we are actually going to write it. In today's video, though, we are going to use this one, Notepad. Okay, now why do we want to use Notepad? Notepad is a very, very basic editor. It comes with all the Windows. If you're using Windows, if you're using Mac, you should have some sort of text editor. I'm not sure, but you should have. So Notepad doesn't really need you to download anything, and it is, if you're like I said, this video is, or this web series is completely geared toward beginners. It will actually force you to write every element, and you will kind of build a habit of how to write an element, because semicolons, those brackets, angle brackets, those matters when you are actually writing code. So this is actually going to build your habit, and that's why we're going to use Notepad. Now, once you get more experience with it, you can upgrade to this very awesome editors. Notepad++ is it's just like Notepad with some other features. Okay. Sublime and Atom are very popular text editor out there. You can use them if you want. My personal favorite though is Visual Studio Code, which is everything here is free. I believe Atom or Sublime has like a free version, but they also like once in a while it just give you like an alert or something that, hey, do you want to upgrade to premium version or something like that. Where Visual Studio Code is much more powerful than any other editors right there, yet it is like a small in size, like a very simple code editor, and it's completely free. It's Visual Studio comes from Microsoft, and it's really awesome, and I recommend this one. Okay, all right, that's it. So let's go ahead and build create our first HTML file. So here we go. I'm going to create this one. I'm going to text document. I'm going to name this an index. This is another convention. You can name it anything you want, but usually it will be like index, your HTML file, and then txt is the extension of that file. I'm going to change this one to HTML. All right, click here. Yes, I want to change this, and it takes the browser logo, which is Google Chrome in my case. In your case, it's going to take whatever browser you have. In fact, I'm not going to actually use Google Chrome today. In today's video, I'm actually going to use Microsoft Edge, which is actually built on, the same Chromium engine that Google Chrome has. Okay, it's pretty much the same, so you can use Google Chrome, no problem. But I'm going to use Edge because I'm just trying out this Chrome Edge, and so far I like it because it's based on Chrome. All the benefits from Chrome exist on Edge, but okay, I digress. You can use whatever you want. Okay, all right. So you can see there's nothing in here right now because it's, of course, we didn't write any code. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna also right click on this index and then open it with Notepad. We're gonna replicate the example that we talked about earlier. So the first thing what we're gonna do is angle bracket on caps doc. Oh, sorry. See, already forgot. Exclamation mark, then doc type space. I'm going to do HTML and then close that. This is the very basic first thing that we have to put in my HTML file. Then we will have to do an HTML, just telling my browser that, hey, it is an HTML file, and anything here. What is the first thing? Like I said, HTML is kind of like the skeleton of a web page. So just like a skeleton, it will have a head tag. I'm going to put a head tag right here. And you can see I'm opening it and closing it. And I'm going to put something in between this head element. I will put body tag. And most of everything that you see right here is going to be inside the body tag. Okay. Now head tag, there's something called title that we just saw in our previous slides. Now what does title do? So at this point, you can see that this one right here in our tab, it is showing that it is index.html. Okay, it came from the file that we named index.html. Now I want to change it to whatever I'm doing right now, or whatever my website is referring to. So I'm going to change this one to HTML5 tutorial, and there's nothing happening. Okay, so that's because we have to save this. So when I'm in editing mode, nothing gets saved. So when I'm doing file save, it is actually saving in my computer. You obviously know that. But when I am, here's still nothing happening, because when I refresh, now it's getting changed. Okay, now what is happening in refresh? When I'm refreshing, or I'm going to any website, it actually does a GET request. It actually tells my computer or the source that, hey, I want your HTML right now. give everything what you have, and that's exactly what's happening. So first it didn't show nothing because I didn't have anything, and then it changed everything. So every time I refresh, it does a get request and gets the whole HTML here and just shows it. Okay, that's how it works. All right, so in the body, we learn about headline. So let's write a headline. Okay, opening tag, closing tag. Okay, I'm gonna show you a website. It's called Lorem Ipsum. There you go. Lorem Ipsum is a website where it basically has lots of dummy text or paragraph that you can actually use, and that's what we're gonna use right here. So let's use this as our headings, and let's use this, if I can select this, use this paragraph as our paragraph. I'm going to here paste this. It's going to be a long thing. Just like I said, Notepad is not really that good with it, but if you're using Visual Studio Code or anything, you can download an extension, Prettier, which will automatically prettify everything. Anyway, so here you can look. We have a paragraph now. We have a heading here, and we have a paragraph. We can actually change our heading size from 1 to 2, and let's see what happens. It just gets a little bit smaller, but I think I will go back to 1 because I like that better. Save this. Okay, so so far we learned about the doc type declaration. We learned about the first element, which is HTML, and everything goes in between HTML elements. And then we learn about head, where the title elements goes, and then we learn about body, where our heading and paragraph actual content of the web page goes. All right, so if I want to make, let's say I want to make this Lorem Ipsum, I'm gonna put a comma here, bold, okay? This is how I'm gonna do it. So I am basically going to use a strong element and wrap Lorem Ipsum with that strong element. Saving this, and you can see that this is now in strong and bold. Okay, awesome. Okay, so next thing, let's say we want to what do we want to use? I want to use p tag again now, but I want to do this is Lorem Ipsum. Okay, I'm going to show you what I'm actually going to do with this. This is Lorem Ipsum, but I want this text or this sentence to be a link, so I will be able to click on it. How I'm going to do this? I'm going to wrap this is Lorem with another element called anchor tag. Okay, it denotes by a, which is called anchor. Now anchor tag, let me see if I just do it, what's going to happen? Nothing happening, because anchor tag actually needs an attribute. Okay, without an attribute, anchor tag doesn't really do anything, because it wants to know what is this link. Like, it needs to have an address. Where do I go to? That's what it is. Okay, so it's an hypertext, not hypertext, hyperlink. Okay, so the attribute itself is called href, stands for hyperlink reference. So, and then equal, and then code. In code, and it could be a single code, all double code, both works. In here, I'm going to put the address. Okay, so let's go back to our Lorem Ipsum address, and I'm just going to put it right here. So hyperlink reference, this is the one I want. This one to be clickable, and once I click this link, I want it to go to this website. That's what I'm trying to do here. Okay, I'm control saving this one, control S on my keyboard for a shortcut. If I do refresh, you can see here that now it is clickable, and the mouse pointer is changing, and also it's underlined. Okay, if I click this one, it goes to Lorem Ipsum website, but it goes to, now where is my website? My website is gone now. If I click on here, my website is gone. I have to literally go back. So what if I want to open this link in a new tab instead of the window that I'm currently on? You can do this simply by introducing another attribute called target, and then equals, again, code, and here underscore, we're gonna say blank. I'm gonna say blank and then save this one, and if I refresh this and click this, it's going to open that website in a new tab. All right, that is really cool. Now with this target blank, now you have to be really careful because this target blank could be abused. Now it's a security issue, so whenever you are going to use this target blank, you also have to use another attribute for security reasons called rel equals. I'm gonna open up code here, and I'm gonna say no opener, no refer, like this. You can search and you can read more about this one, why you do need this, but whenever, just know for now, because it's out of our scope of this video, that whenever you are using target underscore blank, you also have to use no opener, no refer. Let me see if I did it correctly. Yeah, I did it correctly. Cool. Okay, makes sense. So we have a link now. Okay, next thing what we're gonna learn, we are going to learn about image. Let's say I want to put an image here. So there is a cool website called Pexels. Cool. This is the website, Pexel, where you can, there are really high quality images right here. You can use it. It's no copyright issue on whatsoever. These are very, very nice photographs. You can also use like search. I will search building. There's some nice architecture photo here. I'm gonna use, click on here. Should I use, I don't know, let's use this one, this particular one. Okay, I'm gonna right click one, I'm gonna copy image link. Okay, let's copy it, and here's how I'm gonna put the image. Okay, I'm gonna it's also gonna use an element tag called img, and image tag is one of the few tags that does not need a closing tag, because every time we need a closing tag, because we are trying to put something in between those tags, right? So HTML has opening and closing tag because everything goes inside HTML. Head tag has opening tag and closing tag because title elements actually goes inside this. Title has opening and closing because this HTML tutorial goes in between this. Now image, we are not putting anything. We're just referencing to that image location, the link, and that's it. We are not actually writing anything. So that's why we don't actually need a closing tag. So, but we do need, just like an anchor tag, we do need something attribute, and that attribute is basically gonna go to src, and that stands for source equal, again, the quotes, and then I'm gonna paste that photo link. Okay, now I'm gonna save this here, and then if I refresh, you can see there it is. There's the picture. Okay, now you know how to put a picture in there. You can also, like for an example, this picture is a little bigger for our taste. Let's say I want to alter the size of this picture. You can actually do it with another attribute called width equal to quote. And here, let's say I want to do 200 pixel. Let's do it. Let's see how it goes. And I also want to change the height. Height, and I am thinking 400. Let's do 300. Okay, because it looks like the height is larger than the width. And then refresh, and there you go. That's our image. Now we customize the size of the image with the attribute of width and height within in HTML. Okay, so we have learned about image tag. Let's learn about list. So there are two types of list in HTML. One is called ordered list. So I'm going to open a tag here, OL, and within this OL I will also have the actual list element, and that is li, and I'm gonna say this is a list, and I can have multiple lists just like this. And if I save it, refresh, and you can see that the list appears. Now, what does this does this for the list? It is numbering. So you can see the list is 1, 2, 3, and I can have another one, and it will be number 4. If you do want a list, numbered list, you want to use OL. Now, if you do want unnumbered list, unordered list in this case, so OL for ordered, and simply change O to U, becomes unordered list. Save, and you see the same thing, but it is now showing up as bullet. Okay, bullet list. We will be using unordered list most of the time while building applications or web applications, especially building nav, and there is a way through CSS where we can get rid of these bullets as well. Okay, so that's list for you. Now let me show you a website, a very good website that is called W3 Schools, where you can actually learn about HTML web development, and it's a great resource for you. So we're gonna go to HTML, and we're gonna go to the HTML formatting. So we already learned about strong tag, where we made our lorem ipsum strong right here. I'm gonna make it bigger so you can see. Okay, now you can also make, if I add another tag called I, and wrap it around lorem ipsum around the strong tag and save it, you can see now it is bold, coming from the strong, and also is italic, which is coming from this I tag here. Okay, now there is another tag, which is EM. EM works the same way as I do. EM stands for emphasize, so you can see there it basically looks the same. Okay, another one, if you don't want to use strong, you can also use B, and that also stand for bold text. And if I refresh, you see that there's nothing changed. Okay, so we learned about bold, strong, italic, emphasized, marked text. Let's do marked and see what it does. And I am going to change this to marked. I'm going to take away the bold and save. Let's see. Let's go down and see what mark. Okay, the HTML mark element defines text that should be marked or highlighted. Okay. Oh, okay. My bad. It's actually going to be marked instead of marked. Save and refresh. There you go. So if I want to like highlight a sentence or a word, I can use mark. I used marked. Silly mistake. Anyway, so you can, as you can see, that this website is really good. You can play with it. You can try it yourself, and then see learn about many elements and tags. All of them actually are here. Let's talk about, so we learned about mark. Let's talk about small. So what does small does? So let's change this mark to small, and this will simply make the lorem ipsum a small size than it's all of the other text. Now if I go the zoom level reset, you can see that this is smaller than anything else. Okay, all right, next one would be delete. Delete is, I believe it is going to run a line through the text. Save it, refresh it, and you can see, there you go. So this is delete. Okay, if you ever want to use this, the tags is for you. Now there is another one, inserted text. Now I don't remember quite what inserted text does, but let's see. Feeling okay, inserted kind of underlines it. Subscript text, let's do subscript text. Save, refresh, and you can actually see that it is actually going to be, you know, lower. So if you want to, there's another one called soup. So if I, you know, you can use superscript text. So basically, if you want to writing like 2 degrees or 365 degrees or something like that, you will use the degree sign and put it inside soup. Okay, which is superscript text. All right, so you learn about all this formatting that you can do on your paragraph. So let's see, let's go. Quotations. Okay, let's learn about quotation. All right, so I am going to copy this and I'm going to write it right here. Okay, so the first thing what I'm going to do here, in fact, you know what? Let me do line by line. Okay, the first thing is I am introducing a p tag. Okay, and within the p tag, all I'm saying is this line here, that here is a code from WWF's website. Okay, World Wildlife. All right, now the second one I'm going to do is I want a block code. Now, as of right now, if I save this, go back to refresh, and if I go down, you can see it's right here at the very bottom. Here is a code from WWF's website and just a regular text. So what if I introduced a block code? Okay, I am just going to okay, and then in that block code I will do something called site. This is going to be another attribute that goes in block code element, and I'm going to copy this, save it, and save. Let's see what happens. Okay, let's see. That's what I did, right? Site. The HTML site tag defines the title of a creative work. Okay, a person's name is not the title of a work. The text in the site element usually renders in italic. Well, that's a site element or tag itself. Okay, within this block code, we have to put something. All right, let's within this block code, let's put this whole paragraph and save it, refresh. Okay, okay, now you can see that this whole paragraph, because we surrounded by block code, it is now indented. Let's inspect that. If you right click and inspect, it's going to open up a dev tool, which is really good. And within dev tool, you can actually see right here that you do have the website. Okay, that has a site here. All right. The next thing is Q, and that's a short quotations. The HTML Q tag defines a short quotation. Browsers normally insert quotation marks around the quotation. Okay, let's copy this and see what it does. So it's a regular p tag. Okay, paragraph, WWF's goal is to, and then this one, this particular section here, build a future where people live in harmony with nature, is within the Q tags. Now if I save it, go to HTML and go down, you can see this appears in a quotation. Okay, that's good to know. All right, you can actually see a lot of examples here. There is an abbreviation, ABBR, where you can actually put, we can try it yourself. You can see here WHO. So the abbreviation title will be a World Health Organization. It takes an attribute, and WHO, what it does is it gives you this the dot 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 underneath. So it kind of tells you that, hey, you can click on here or hover over and you can see there's a tooltip that's saying the World Health Organization, because this is an abbreviation and the full version is World Health Organization. Okay, so you can learn a lot from this website. I'm not going to go each one in this video because it will take 2-3 hours. You can do this on your own time, but there's your address, there's your site, all this predefined style for you. Like if you're writing an address, there would be an address element that you can use, which will look like this. And you can also, I also want to mention here is that BR is an element that actually put your line on a new line, put your next text on a new line. What I mean by that, so let's say for 50 years, from this WF, I want it to be on the next line. I can simply say BR and close this tag. It doesn't need a closing tag again because I'm not putting inside anything. It's just introducing a new line. So if I save it, refresh, you can see that WWF is now on its new line. All right, so that's about it from the formatting. Let's learn about something very important. Let's learn about, I want to learn semantic, HTML semantic. So what is HTML semantic elements? So far, the elements that we learned, it is all meaningful. Like if you see it, you know what this elements or tags does. For example, it's a head, you know, okay, so this is a head tag. It will consist title, and title, what is a title? Title is a title of the tab right here. P denotes for paragraph, H1 denotes for heading, so it kind of like explicit. These are called semantic elements. So a semantic elements clearly describes its meaning to both the browser and the developer. Examples of okay, there are examples of semantic elements would be from, table, article, even though we didn't really go through with this, but we will. But all these are semantic. H1, list, paragraph, block code, these are all semantic. We also have like form, table, and article. Non-semantic is called div and span. So we do also have an element called div. So div is like this, and same thing, we'll close this, and divs kind of stand for like division. We use div a lot. You will be using div a lot, especially we use, because not all of the things are describable by semantic elements. I can just simply divide each section to the page, and I can denote, okay, the whole head section belongs to this header div. Okay, we will work and learn more about div, and also same thing with section when we are going to talk about CSS. But just know that there is non-semantic, which doesn't really tell me like what this section is. A section does, it can hold multiple of things. We are also can use a span. These are all non-semantic because I don't know exactly, it's not explicit. Okay. All right, semantic elements could be like article. So if you're writing an article, you can also use like an article element, and just get that article in here, and it's gonna show pretty much the same way. You can see this. You have a side. A side, it might be something like just like this. Like if this is your website here, you can have like a header element that will have your nav links or header information, and there's your nav link. There could be a section which is non-semantic. There could be an article, and then a side could be navigation menus or whatever, like other information you can put. Okay, and then you have a side, and then you have a footer that you can work on. So you can read on this. These are important to know. We developer always want to use semantic elements, explicit. So yeah, okay. All right, we have learned the basics so far. Now there are two more things that I want to touch upon, and these are important. You'll be using this a lot. The first one is called a form. So as you can see on my left hand side on the W3 School, I pulled up the HTML form page. So what does a form do? A form element simply have an input. You can see the input section where your users or viewers can actually interact with your website. So if you're building a website that needs like a login page that your users need to be signed into, they have to put their email address or sign up in a website and everything, and that sign up needs it's going to use the form. So let's see how the form works. So we're going to build this one. Try it yourself, and then we can code along with this. Okay, so the form will look like this. We're gonna go ahead and add a form right here. And the first thing what we're gonna do is I'm going to have a label. And I will have an input. Okay, an input is a self-closing element. Okay, all right, so you can see here at the very bottom, and I'm going to have a break. So just give me some space right here, and at the very bottom you see there is an input section where I can type. Okay, perfect. So that's your input. So what is this input does? It doesn't tell me what should I put. Do I put my first name, last name, whatever? So that's what I'm going to do. Let's say I'm going to say first name in the label itself, and if I save it, refresh, and you can see now it is telling me that okay, this is for first name. So this is what label does. Label is connected with the input, and it basically tells what this input for. So let's copy this, build another, and let's just call this one last name. Save, refresh, and you can see there's another input come in, and this is last name. Okay, let's see what they did with that. Input has an attribute. Input has an attribute because what type of input this is. This is type of, there are many types of input. This particular type of input is a text. I want my viewers to add a text in here. So I can simply say type equals an attribute. So type equals quotation, and within this quotation I'm just gonna say it's a text. I'm gonna do the same thing with this as well. Nothing's going to change because when you put an input, by default its types is always text, but sometimes we would need to either put different things in here, like we can put like submit, we can put like a radial, and we'll learn more about this one, but for now just first name and last name. Okay, and this is going to be text. Another thing, ID, we are also input has another attribute that's called name, and I want the name is, you can give it any name. Usually the name should be what this input is about, so I'm just gonna say the name is first name. And I'm gonna do the same thing with here as well, and I'm just gonna say this is gonna be the last name and that is the name. Okay. It can also take an ID. Now this ID, we will learn more about ID and class in the CSS video, but usually an input would take an ID that would have, let's say I can just say F name for first name, and I can add the ID here as well and say L name for last name. Okay, now this ID needs to be matched with another attribute that goes with label, which is called for, and this for will have to have the same as your ID has, so that kind of connects with this particular input. It's not going to connect with anything else. Okay, and we're gonna do this here. Before we do that, let's just add a break so it appears on its own line, and I'm gonna do the same thing for, and with here I'm gonna say L name, so this goes with that one. So let's see, refresh, go down. Now you can see this is all in on one line. I can do a first name here, that's my name, and then last name. Okay. Let's also do another input right here. So let's also do a break, and here I will do an input, and input will be, now this time the input gonna be submit instead of type, and it will have a value. In fact, let's do value later. Let's do save it, and if I refresh, you can see there is a button and it's called submit. So if I specify the type needs to be submit, it will act as, see, the web page refreshes every time you click on it. So that basically telling it submits, it does a get request. Okay, so that's that. We are also going to use, whenever we use input type submit, we also want to use a value attribute that will also work with submit. Okay, form itself, now you can actually see. Now another thing we can do, first name, we can put first name, we can put our last name, and then submit. Another thing we can do here is we can put like a placeholder. So in the input, the first input, and I can put it anywhere, we just have to separate by space, placeholder, and I can actually say first name if I really want to be explicit. Okay, and I can just copy this, put it right here, and this one is going to be last name. Save it, refresh. Now you can see there's a placeholder. It's it actually explicitly say that, hey, this input is for first name and this is input for the last name. All right, so that's your form. It's a very, very basic form. Form could be very complicated, but as simple as this as well. All right, so form also has the very form page. You can see that there is another attribute called action. If you want to do something with this particular form, if you want to send it to maybe your database or something, you can do this with PHP. They did it with PHP. But we won't be using actions because we'll be working with JavaScript. We will handle the form with our JavaScript. So this is pretty much it. This is your form template. There are many types of input you can learn from HTML. You can actually learn from let's see if I have input. Let's go here, input types. So you can see there are many. There are input type button, there are input type checkbox, and I can show you some here. So if I just okay, so first save this and then refresh, you can see there's another submit. Now if I change this type to, let's say, button, what does it do? I believe it does the same thing as button. I think that's the default. if I change this one to checkbox, you can see now it's a checkbox where you can actually check, uncheck. So input has a lot of ways you can use them. So you can use it for this regular text type. You can use it for button submit. You can use also for checkbox. You can also use if you do like a color. Let's see, color is an interesting one. Save. And then go back, refresh, and you can see, and it can actually click on here, and it's basically a color picker. You can choose whatever color you want. I don't know if it's going to, doesn't change though, but you can use it. Yeah, you can use the color, so it's kind of like a color picker. We will be doing a project on specific input type of color later on, but know that you can do this. The second one is date. Let's change this to date. I'm going to take this value off from here from now. Refresh, and you can see here it is a date. It also gives you a calendar where you can just pick the date. So forms are very vital in terms when you're trying to interact with your viewers. There's another one called date time local. Now let's see what it does. Save, refresh, and well, I guess it has the time as well, not only the dates. If it's an email, can also put like an email, and that's basically going to be same as your text because there are, but it is let me see if I just put gibberish. See, if I enter, it actually does tell me that it is not a valid email because it does not have a @ which email needs. Now if I do let's say Hotmail, and now enter, it refreshes. That means it worked. So emails there. Let's see if I do file. There's another one, save and refresh. If I do file, it actually will let me choose a file from my computer. So that's awesome. That's definitely going to be helpful. Another one, we want to do a type hidden. I'm not quite sure what that does. Let's see. Refresh this, and it doesn't show up. It is hidden. Okay, makes sense. And then image type, input type image. Let's look at this. These are interesting ones. Well, it just, I don't know what the purpose of it. I never used this one. I didn't even know that it exists. But anyway, so type another one. It's gonna be month. Save, and let's see what that month does. It's kind of like the same thing, but it goes as like a month instead of like the whole date time. Okay, I want to use something that's okay. If I do numbers, what that does, save, refresh, and number is, because if you are trying to use like a survey or anything that you have a range, you can use this. Okay. Then I also have, after that number, I also have a password, and that we'll be using this one a lot. We'll be using text type, we'll be using email type, and you will be using password type all the time. What password type does is that whatever I type, you can see it hides. Now it also gives me this view option where I can see what I typed, but it hides so nobody can actually see it. So if you're working with password, we always want to use type password. Radio button is as you can see, so just a radio check button. We can also use a range. That's another slider. And and with the range, I believe you can add something like you can specify from what like restrictions or anything. Input restrictions, let's see. I believe you can do like a min. I don't know if you can do min mix. Kind of forgot, but let's see. Say 10. Doesn't show me that though. Like it gave me the number. It's gonna give me the number, and which will go till 10. Okay, it works with the number. Range, see, okay, it also min max goes with range as well, but I guess I have to put a label with the range, just like, and if I put a label, I also have to have an ID, which will basically say volume, and I would have to have a label for volume, and I can simply say this, and then so that they know. Okay, so there are lots of input type. As you can see, they're like search, submit, text, time, URL, week, everything. Interesting ones. I recommend you to go over this one. And there is another one that I want to go through. It is called tables. All right, so tables are, let's try this, and then we will work on tables. Okay, let's get rid of all of this. You know what? No, I'm gonna make some space here. So okay, so here we want to work on a table. We want to make this particular table right here. The first thing what we're gonna do here is, let's say I want to use an h2 tag. So h2, and I'm gonna say HTML table. All right, save. I go to my page. I don't see it. Why don't I see it? There you go. And save it. All right. So HTML table. Now under that table, I want to create this. So obviously that's going to be a table element. Okay. Within that table, I also want to do, this is called a TR, which stands for table row. Okay, I want to close this. So if I want to copy this, okay, let's just do 2. Let's see what happens. Nothing showing up. So let's say I want just 2 lines. Okay, the first line, so this is table row, the one row, this is the second row. Okay, in the first row I want the table heading, which is going to be this one. Okay, I want table heading. I want to say this is going to be company. I want to do another one. I can copy this. Did I copy this? I did not. Okay, and this one would be contact, and another one, and I would want to do it country. Okay, save. Let's see if anything changes. Well, it actually gave me the row, the first row, and it also gave me this is individual head, individual column. So table head is the individual column. So the second row, I'm gonna do this pretty much the same thing, but it is not going to be heading because I want this one to be data. So I want table data also going to be each column. Okay, so I want 3 data, and I want this one, I want this one, and I want this one. Save it, refresh, and see. There you go. That is your table. Okay, so you got your table, you got your row. First you define your rows, and within that row you define your table data, so each column. You can learn more about this one. You can obviously see how they made the styles and everything, and we'll learn more styles in the next video. But that is it. I think we learned the most useful things about HTML. It's not as difficult as you might think right now. It might be like overwhelming to you, but once you're building a lot of websites, there are elements and tags you'll be using repetitively, and that will just basically going to be your second nature. So don't get overwhelmed, don't get scared, just work on it. Just how I practice it on this video, try it yourself. The best way to learn it if you code along with me, and if you're comfortable, obviously let me know how it went. If you like me to go over some concept into more detail, even I can do that. If you have any questions or anything like that, please let me know in the comment section below, and subscribe to get notified for the next video that I'm going to do, where I will be making all this. Right now it is all you can see it is all gibberish right now. It does not have any style whatsoever. We're gonna style it. We're gonna build our first project in the next video. So till then, peace and stay safe.